Hello, everybody. Let's just go ahead and do a quick audio check. Hello, King Clown. Glad to see that you are here. Just going to let people filter in until about 10 a.m. PST. That's in the next few minutes. And then we'll get started on how to create staircases, because staircases can be confusing sometimes, right? So we're going to be covering that today. First, let's just verify that the audio is working, and then we can move from there. I hope my audio is working. Hello, can you hear me okay, King Clown? Let me know, Your Majesty. Oh, excellent. Perfect. Okay, sweet. All right, we're going to give it about one more minute and we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, Ian Robertson. Thank you. Good. I just got this awesome mic. It's this Blue Yeti. It's just perfect for streaming, and I absolutely love it. It's just so much better than what I had before. All right. We're almost there. For those of you who just walked in, we are going to show you how to make or how to use staircases in the fantasy battle map style, since battle maps are the most utility, have the most utility, and they're going to be used the most. So we'll be doing battle maps. And just, you know, these same techniques also work with the watercolor battle map style, if that's your preferable style. So these techniques are just to kind of help with some simple questions. So here is what I have found through working with staircases. Several people have come to me, and it's generally these same three questions. How do you portray direction in a staircase? Like how do I know if the stair is going up or down? How do I use spiral staircases? Sometimes spiral staircases can be really awkward and strange, and you don't know where to place them on a building or a tower. So I'll also show you how to use spiral staircases, like whether it's in a castle or wherever, okay, a tower. And I'm also going to be showing you how to make a grand staircase, because sometimes if you want to make like a theater, an opera house, or anything like that, you're going to want to know how to make this grand staircase leading up to it. And so I'll be showing you how to do that too. And I'm also going to be going over basically the anatomy or the terminology of staircases, like what's on a staircase, and then how to piece those together. Because there is a lot of staircase pieces. If we go into that catalog, and you'll notice if we type in staircase in the search bar, let's put stairs, so I don't want starfish. Stairs, you're going to see that there's a kind of a lot of options here for staircases. So you have a lot to work with. And so this can be kind of daunting, overwhelming. So you need to know what each thing does and how to use it, right? So we'll first quickly just go over kind of the anatomy of that. And I'll just start with a simple wooden staircase for now, just to show you what pieces are for. And you'll know what direction things are at. So let me zoom in real quick. I'm going to grab my path tool, and I'm going to show you how to read the current pieces. Let's go ahead and take these two. Okay, so you might not know, does this staircase go up or down, right? Well, it does both. Obviously, you go one direction, it goes the other. Let's go, I'm going to turn off my shadows here. I'm going to show you the current direction. So you'll see that there are some shadows right here. These shadows kind of represent the front, kind of the face, where there's ambient inclusion, where there's a shadow. So if I was walking in this direction, I would be going up the stairs. If I was going this direction, I'd be going down the stairs. It's the same thing here with this one right here, okay? So look for the ambient inclusion, the shadow in the stair. That's that front face where that shadow is. That's that front face. So you'll always know whether you're going up or down. That's a good indicator in the art itself. The next part, you might see these strange kind of flat pieces like this, and you might think, well, what's this for? This is what's called a landing. And a landing is basically a part where there's a flat part of the staircase that leads to another part of the stairs. So let's say that you wanted to make a corner staircase piece. This is how you would do it. You would use this landing. So you go up, there's a flat part right here. Let me quickly grab my path tool. You go up the staircase, there's a flat piece right here, and then you just go up, back up the staircase like that. Okay, so that is what a landing is for. And landings you're going to use a lot in grand staircases, or if you want to create a little bit more detailed stairs instead of just doing one little set of stairs going upstairs. So that landing is really important. I recommend using landings too, because you can come up with some really interesting things when you incorporate a landing. For instance, I could copy and paste the staircase, and let's say that I wanted two routes to go up. Maybe you can even add another landing on this side like this, with even more staircases going up. So this is kind of that grand staircase kind of feel to it. So definitely use landings. And frankly, I don't see a lot of landings on a lot of maps. So I definitely recommend you use them. So just remember that term. It's a landing. Absolutely use them. They look great. You could make some super, super cool staircase stuff with it. So that's kind of like the basic anatomy. Maybe we can go over another stamp that might be a little bit more confusing on where it is. So same thing with this one. You see there's like this ambient occlusion. That's going to be where the front face is. So clearly if I'm going straight up, going straight like this, you're going up. So again, just to reiterate, remember where the ambient occlusion is on the staircase, so that way you know what's up and what's down. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know. Again, I have 3 questions that I'm going to be covering, but if you have other questions about staircases, don't be afraid to ask, because I want to hear it all. We're going to make sure that people really understand how to use staircases. So now that I've gone over the anatomy of the art with the stairs, now you understand how that works. The next step is actually applying that to a map. So we might want to go into composites. Make sure if I can spell it right. We're going to go ahead and type in composite, and we're going to go ahead and just pick maybe a small house, and we're going to try to figure out how to apply maybe a stair that leads either up or down. Okay, maybe we can add in 2. One staircase going to maybe a basement, and maybe a second staircase going up to the next floor. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so you got your basic composite stamp here. And don't worry, I'll be doing towers and circular staircases too, so I don't want you to feel like I'm going to be abandoning that. Yes, please post your questions in the chat. Thank you. Oh, also, if you have any other questions, you can also talk with Philip. Philip is our moderator. I apologize for not introducing you before, Philip, but everyone knows Philip. Brilliant map maker. Always ask Philip questions. He'll gladly help if I can't get to you, okay? I'm also going to real quickly just fill in this with the add mode of the mask tool, so I can quickly just have at least some kind of floor to work with. And I've already preset the BG layer to be at this stone. I'm just going to fill it in like this, and I like to use the, for quick fills, I like to use that brush, the rectangle brush, and then for these odd corners, I just fill it in with my regular brush. And I think I might even change the floor. The walls already seem to be made of stone, so maybe it would be better to have a wooden floor. I'm not sure. Let's just see if that will work better. Oopsie, my bad. That's not what I wanted. There we go. That's no, still not the right. Let me show you how not to do it, okay? All right, so I'm just going to quickly fill that in. So you have this wooden interior. So you want 2 staircases, one going maybe down into like a basement, and then another one that goes down into, or goes up into a second floor. So how would I go about going downstairs? Let's do a stair real quick. And you can go ahead and pick the one you want. You have a wooden floor, so I'm just going to use a wooden floor. And now there are some stamps on here that might just straight out work out of the box without any kind of changes. I think these ones right here, they're from a ship, but they already have kind of the built-in shadows where it kind of goes down. I would also make sure do not have any shadows at all, whether a layer or object. Make sure you just turn off no shadow whatsoever. And this one right here from ships, it's already made of wood and it's already got the shadows built in, showing that it's go down. But if you don't like that and you want to build your own, you can do that too. Like you say, you just don't want this, the wood doesn't match, doesn't look good. There are some quick fixes to that. Like if you don't think it matches the right color, you can go straight to luminosity and it will change that color to more of that brown. And so that matches in a little bit better. So you can do that, see the change again. Normal, the wood's a bit darker, go down to luminosity, and it kind of changes. Just know that if you change the texture underneath that stair, it will be that color, relatively in the color range of that texture that you use. So make sure that when you place it down, because here if I put it over here, it's going to look gray because it gets black. But if I have luminosity over this wooden texture, it will capture that wooden kind of that color, making it fit a little bit better. Also, I think we need to set this at a smaller size. There we go. So there's that. Now, if you don't want to do it that way, if you prefer to kind of make your own staircase that's a little bit more elaborate, you can absolutely do that. You can just go with, like, maybe that's this stair right here, and you want to go down. You could even make it a little bit smaller if you want. So you want to go down. Let's also bring it down a layer. There we go. And there shouldn't be any shadow whatsoever. I'll make sure to go into the art catalog and change that. So you already know what direction regular staircases go in. This is going up and then going down. So if we want it to go down, you don't want to go this way because this stair looks like it's going up. So we're going to flip it this way around like this, so it's going down. And we also want to create like a board or overhang. So I'm just going to type in wood, and this is what I normally do when I try to do a staircase, is I try to add in one of these wooden walls right here, and you can scale it up and just put it right over like this. And then from there, you're going to want to portray that shadow, right? So from there, you're going to switch to object shadow. We're going to take the settings and go to 0 and 0 because it's just easier to navigate that way, and push the shadow this way as far as you can. Bring up the darkness if you want, and you can push it a little bit this way if you want. Bring it down just a little bit. And then also, I like to add one more piece right about here, because you're creating what's called railing. So this is the railing that's up on this ground floor while the steps go down into the basement. So this, again, this is the railing that you're going to be going up against, and then you go down. So it's like this L shape right here is all on that ground floor while the stairs descend down. I hope that's clear. That's just a way to make your own staircases, and they can be more elaborate too. It doesn't have to be this. You can do spiral staircases, curved staircases. There's all different ways to go about it, and I will be sure to kind of cover that. Before I move on to the next one, any questions about kind of this one before I move on to showing how stairs go up? And we can get to that. So let's say that these stairs want to go up and we're changing it. So we're going to do this instead. So we flip it around, the stairs are going up, and we don't want that shadow to be there. So all you have to do is just switch the shadow to the other side. So I just click the shadow right here and I just move it this way. And I'm going to take this same shadow and push it up a little bit as well. Let's say it's going to be going, let me think for a second here. Let me zoom in. It's going up, and this is the overhang part. And we're going to want these shadows to go up just a little bit as well. 1 second, I'll get that fixed. Oopsie, 0, 0. Looks like there's no questions. That's good. Okay. Put that shadow up a little bit. Okay. And so now you have a stair going up. And you can make that more obvious too by putting in, let's say, a landing like this. So you want to put a landing in, and then you want to portray that the stairs go up a little bit more before it gets cut off. You want to add something a little bit more different to it. You can do that too. So let's say you want to add in this, and I would extend obviously this, because you're going to create, copy, paste. And you want to bar off this area, obviously, because this is the part where you can't obviously get to. So copy, paste, there we go, 1 second. All right, so let me first get the direction right, just to make sure that I have it right. So you're going up like this to go up into that second floor. So you have a landing right here, and then you go up into that second floor. Placement's not the best, obviously. It's right here. You might have to kind of consider placing it somewhere else, which is totally possible. Take this whole thing and you can put it up against here or further away, like right here, wherever it is that you want to put it. It doesn't matter. So that's pretty much upstairs, downstairs that are really basic. I would love to do a more advanced staircase video in the future. That's totally possible too. You could push it down even more like this too if you wanted to. But that's just the general idea, because staircases can be very, very confusing. Okay. Ooh, staircases for 3 hours. That's rough. Yeah, staircases can be super tough, but there are super sneaky tricks. I swear that overhanging board and the shadow, that does wonders. That really is going to help. Okay, so I think that kind of portrays up and down with simple staircases. Let's do something that's a little more complex. Let's say that you want to like make a tower, and that can be very confusing. So I'll show you how I make towers. I'm going to go ahead and remove this entire background. So I'm just going to subtract all this, and I will show you how I do towers. And there are multiple kinds of towers. There's circular towers, polygon-shaped towers where there's a hexagon or whatever. If you are going to make a tower, I totally recommend that you have some kind of visual guide to kind of help you out so you know how many floors you're going to have and all that kind of stuff. So we'll start with the basic staircase for a tower. And putting curved walls may seem confusing, but they're really not. Making a curved tower is actually super simple. It's all about just putting together these two half circles like this, and then you have a full circle tower just like that. I mean, that's really just about how simple as it gets. And if you're wondering where's the entrance and stuff, you can totally use a clipping mask, put a staircase on top to show where it goes in. There are a lot of different options, but this is really the quickest way to kind of put down a circular tower. And then the next thing you have to think about is where you're going to put your stairs. Now, there are two ways to really go about putting in your staircases. First, let me just go ahead and kind of fill this in so we have a floor. Perfect, there we go. All right, so you have your floor here. And one of the toughest things for staircases with a tower, for me personally, is room. Like, where do you have the room to put a staircase? Because if you're putting your staircases in the center of the room or on the side of the room, you're running out of room for your players to kind of run around and move around, right? So the way to kind of fix that problem is to create what's called an additional stairwell tower. Okay, and you can put these inside of a manor house or a mansion or a castle. It's just an additional tower that's attached adjacent to the current tower with the floors. And it's just that staircase is just a stairwell that goes up and leads to each floor. Okay, because again, if you try to put a staircase like right here, let me just grab a stair real quick. And you want to put it right here, let's say, right? The issue is that now you've kind of run out of room a little bit, or this takes up a bunch of room for your players to move around. So adding that additional staircase is super important. So we'll go back into the catalog. One moment, and I'll go ahead and type in stair. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go with let's go with circular brick. I think this should be fine. Let me just look at the other spiral staircases. I think this looks good. Okay, so you have your first spiral staircase. Now, whenever you're using any kind of staircase, especially the spiral one, you first need to indicate what's up and what's down, right? Especially depending on the floor that you're on. If you're on your ground floor and there's no bottom floor, you obviously don't want to add a spiral staircase that goes down. You want a spiral staircase that goes up. So just like before, let's indicate what is up and what is down, okay? Again, you're going to see that ambient inclusion right there, okay? That ambient inclusion, again, is that front face of the staircase and where that shadow is. Now, if that's the shadow, then that means that this direction means going up, right? And this direction means going down. All right? Okay, so then now you're going to want to also create the walls of your stairwell. And you can just use that same stamp as this one right here and put it in like this. Or you can use, there are some official stairwell right here. I think this Gothic stair railing. This stuff works pretty good. Let me check to see if there's other ones just to be sure. There isn't, but this Gothic stair railing is perfect. And the reason why I like it so much is because it already has the opening right on it. And so that way it doesn't kind of get in the way. And you're going to want to size it properly to where it goes right over like this. Let me just make sure it's sized properly. You want it to be on the layer above as well, okay? So now you have the walls of the stairwell. So that's been established. The next part is you probably don't want this open space right here, okay? You don't want that. So I like to use a pillar. This just works for me, but if you type in pillar like this, it works great as the central pillar in which the staircase is wrapped around. Hope that makes sense? These staircases can't just be floating. They have to be attached to something. So adding a pillar and then obviously applying a shadow to the pillar as well will make it look like there's some shadow. So go with 0, 0 like this, and we're going to boost the shadow and boost that. And then you have this nice center column with a staircase. Now, once you've constructed your stairwell, you're going to want to group it and, of course, label it. Just call it stairs. And make sure it's a layer above. And from here, you can start to figure out where you want to place this. And that can be strategic and it can be kind of difficult because there is a transition between this metal or this stone and this wooden floor. So think about transition. I'm also going to go back in and turn off the shadow. There should be no shadows whatsoever. One way to do a transition is to create like a cap at the end that's made of wood. So if you want, you can take a piece of wood like this. I'm going to turn off that shadow too. None. Go like this, and I'm going to put it down a layer like this. And put it right here. Actually, let's go up. Let's take it up a layer, and then we'll take this one up. Okay, you're going to need actually, I think metal would, actually stone will work better. So this is up. This is going to be where that kind of ledge is. My bad, I made a mistake actually. Okay, here. So we're going to want to take a ledge. This is just like before. Like this. Make sure it's above, and you're going to do that same thing before, right? With the shadow. Switch to object. Center the shadow because it's just easier to start at 0, and then push the shadow this way like this. And what that is going to look like is going to make it look like it's a wall. Okay, let me just push it a little bit more this way, boost the shadow just a little bit more. Here we go. Let's take a step back and just make sure that it looks right. Let me take a step back. I think this looks right. So this part right here is basically a wall. So when your players is just going to hit up against it if they walk around. So they can just walk right into the staircase, and this part right here is up, okay? So that's staircase going up. I know it's not the best. We could probably do a little bit more shadowing and a couple other things to make it better, but this is just the basics. So again, I'm just going to reiterate this because I can't stop. Shadows mean everything when it comes to direction with staircases, where they're going. Awesome. How do you portray stairs that can go up and down if you were on the second floor? Okay, so, well, the staircase does all the work for you. So let's just say that, you had this floor. Let's say that this floor is actually the second floor, okay? And there's a staircase going down and a staircase going up. Is that what you mean by that? I just want to go over that question real quick. Ian, you want a room that has both staircases? I just want to make sure that I understand the question, and we can kind of go over that. Okay, hold on a second. I'm just reading it. Well, okay, so the thing is that if you want staircase that portrays both, let me think about this, because I did actually show this in another video. So let me make sure that I go over it properly when it comes to both floors. I did do that on a separate map. One moment here. I'm going to go ahead and just save this and close out. And I showed this actually in a tower stream, so I'm going to quickly run over to that map and go over that real quick. Thanks for bearing with me on this. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, absolutely, Ian. Well, we'll go over that because I understand that is kind of confusing. Like you have a staircase that goes both up and down. I think I portrayed that in a tower video. Let me just double check and we'll come back to this one. Okay, yeah, I do think I portrayed it here. Let me just double check. I don't remember how I went about kind of doing that. Let me see here. One that goes, here we go. Okay, so this is how I went about doing it, this part right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and real quickly put that together. So let's just jump right back into here. Sorry, I just about nearly forgot how I did that. One sec, let me get that started. Thank you, Ian, that's a great question. I'm really glad you asked that. That's awesome. Okay, so the question is how do I make it to where this staircase, there's a set of stairs going up and a set of stairs going down? Okay, it's that same technique that we just did with this stone wall right here. And let's say that you want this staircase going up. Let me just quickly bring that down a layer so that this thing is like that. Let's increase it by size a little bit. Okay, so you have this staircase right here that goes up onto this floor and then another staircase that goes up. So the way I would go about that, again, it's as simple as just one wall piece, add a shadow, and that's it. So let me quickly just put that together. It's really just as simple as this. And then just move that shadow this way like that. Boost up the darkness a little bit so it shows that there's some light there. And what you have now, very simply, is just this staircase going up, and then it gets cut off right here. And then this staircase is going up to here, and that's underneath. So it's these two directions, basically. Again, it's as simple as just one wall, add a shadow. It's pretty easy. Oh no, it's easy. It's just knowing about, I mean, well, look, I had to go back and look at a previous tower map, so I'm kind of cheating if I said, well, no, yeah, that's fair, yeah. But yes, it is just, it's putting those shadows. So again, here you can see you have literally two directions that you can go in, really. You can go downstairs into the next level, go up onto the current floor, then go up to the next floor. So it's really just taking one wall piece and just pushing the shadow, because you want to indicate that this staircase right here, this part right here, is going down. That shadow right here is what's making it look like it's going down. So that's really the trick. And there are more complex staircases, so if you get confused about that, you can always just ping me on Discord. Excuse me, feel free. Sorry, one moment. Excuse me. Feel free to ping me with your projects. I'm always willing. You can also go into map feedback. Don't forget to create a separate thread when you do that. But go ahead and just post what staircase problem you're having. Post that in map feedback. Create a separate thread for it. And mentors will be glad to help you, myself included. Staircases are complex. Look, I just forgot how I did the two direction question by Ian. I forgot how I did that, so I think it's fair. So I understand that. Okay, let's see what we can do here. All right, so that's basically spiral staircases. Okay, that's it for now. If there's any questions, let me know. Also, go ahead and check out that tower template. You can clone and edit that, and you'll see how I made all those as well. If reverse engineering is easier for you than a tutorial, then yeah, go ahead, clone, edit. If not, stick with me here and we'll keep going. But that is the general idea with stairs. It's just you create a little wall that kind of represents the overhang, and then that leads up. That's the general idea, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to kind of a grand staircase thing, and then we'll be done. We'll be done after the grand staircase. Let me just go ahead and remove this, and I'm going to real quick just make kind of an entrance maybe to like an opera house or a theater of some kind, and I'll show you how to put together kind of a grand staircase, one that, you know, has, you know, a Paris opera house feel or a mansion or whatever. So a Roman villa, whatever, because it's always nice to have it's always nice to have kind of this grand staircase to kind of give it a really boost to the entrance, right? It's that first impression. Let's say that you've got a big battle in an opera house, or a battle that takes place right in front of the building on the steps, and it's going to be an intense combat. So having a nice entrance kind of prepares you for a nice interior, and also it works great for a battle map. You can jump between the stairs, gain advantage with the height advantage that you have. It's just there's more things to climb around. You can kick somebody off the stairs onto the ground and then bash their head in. All the fun stuff. Okay, so I mean, intense staircases make for great battles, especially when they're a little more open. Obviously, tight stairwells for battles are really boring, but a grand staircase entrance, oh yeah, that's where it's at. How can show us how to fit the Gothic horror rug in this stream? How to fit it? I don't think I understand that one. So anything that's not related to staircases, go ahead and ask Philip. And also, when the stream's over, save those questions, and you can maybe save those for like the Q&A that we have coming up in I think the following week. So go ahead and check that. But for now, I'm just going to stick to staircases just for now. Sorry, it's just that I don't want to make it too long. So let's just quickly add in stairs, and I'll show you a quick kind of advanced entrance that is kind of fun. Oh, carpet. Oh, I see. You mean carpet. Got it. Oh, I gotcha. Perfect. That's a great question. I misunderstood. Are you talking about Gothic carpet? So let's go with stair. So you're saying how to lay. I apologize. I totally misunderstood your question. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do that. So blend modes would really be the way to go about it, just to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. It's how to apply like a carpet to your staircase. I'm just going to make a stair really big, like this, and we'll go ahead and type in carpet. And there are carpeted already, but there's also these castle stair carpets right here. There should be some ones that you can just kind of add right on top, kind of like this, and then you'll have to change the blend mode so that it kind of matches with the stairs below. So let me just go ahead and change that blend mode real quick. I'll show you how to do this. Let's see here. There we go. So either one works. You can go with this darken, multiply looks good, color burn can look good, lighten not so much, overlay looks okay. And the reason why you want that is because you still want to show, one thing you don't want to do is, if you look at normal, you see that it's not showing you at all the ambient occlusion from these stairs. You see, that's set to normal. That's why you want to change the blend mode. The blend mode will allow you to still keep the ambient occlusion of the faces of the stairs intact by changing the blend mode. So you can change it to whatever you want. I'm just going to go with multiply. It's a nice dark red, looks good against the gray. And you might also have to factor in how it will stretch with the whole thing. So you can go to advanced settings, go to transform, and just change the height to be what the height you want it to be. Otherwise it will overlap. You don't want to do that. So let's just change that. So you have this nice staircase right here covered in red, and you can change the color anytime you want. You want to go with changing the color to blue, purple, red, green, whatever it is, the color that you want to change it to, you're going to change that hue. So now you have a staircase with carpet on it. That's great for castles, not castles, opera houses, theaters, red carpet kind of events, things like that, fancy houses, manor houses, mansions. Those are the kind of things that I would use for that. Great question, by the way. I'm really glad that you asked that about the staircase. Okay, so there is actual no way to change the steepness of the staircase that I know of, unfortunately. So, I mean, you could construct your own staircases with using wall pieces, but for now, I don't know of any way to actually change that. So that's a good question, though. I'm not entirely certain. I have to give that some thought. I also want to check spiral staircases. It looks like there are some spiral staircase here, but is it spiral staircase rug? Not sure. I'm not so sure. It's just red. It's just carpeted in general. I'm not so sure that you can do it with spiral, but I just wanted to double check. But that's basically that. I'm going to check chat for any other question. Okay. Blend modes are primo. Let me just tell you right now, blend modes are going to save your life. They're absolutely fantastic. It's basically kind of a power user feature, but you know, I would explore them because you can figure out what things you can do and change with. Just know that blend modes, when you put them on, they're going to interact with the environment around you. So just be kind of careful when you do that. So for instance, if I'm putting on this blend mode, you'll see that, you know, this stamp goes over the wood as well. So just make sure that you line it up properly. And then also I would group it. So that way you don't accidentally select the carpet or the stairs and they get decoupled from each other. You don't want to do that. So just kind of group them so that way the staircase is still, that way it's all intact. So just kind of keep that in mind. Always group, especially when you put carpet on staircase, and label it, of course. So that's kind of my suggestion with that. Okay. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that last piece, which was just that grand staircase. I'm going to make this real quick. It just takes a few minutes, but we're just going to take stone landings and kind of just make a flat surface. And multiple staircases with multiple landings and directions, it can make it look really grand. So let me just quickly remove this. Oh, that's weird. I'm not sure what that is. I might... Oh, weird. Okay, I'm going to have to save and then refresh. Things get funky after a while when you don't save and refresh the page. You just have to do that. It's just kind of the downside of a web tool, but it doesn't really bother me that much. Just a quick save and then just refresh the page and things are fine. Okay, let's just refresh the page. Share my login information with you just in case you need it. Just kidding. Well, I want to see too, King Clown, what you're talking about, because I'm curious. Okay, we're going to open this up real quick, and we'll go ahead and delete this. Okay, so that goes away, and we're going to quickly put together. And I also wanted to show a neat trick about removing. You can change blend modes to also hide certain things. Let me just turn off all the shadows on this real quick. I'll show you some cool tricks as well. Let me see if I can remember which blend mode it is. 1 second. I'll find it. There it is, lighten. So if you take this landing and go lighten it works the same as well for wooden as well. It was a lighten blend mode. If you want to make like a longer table, you can kind of hide this line work a little bit here, and this way you kind of have a flat piece instead of it all looking kind of weird. So I'm going to put a bunch of these together real quick. And I also want to grab the lightened one and put it here because I want to remove that look real quick. And I'm just going to make a multi-tiered staircase. So you kind of have a general idea like this. So you kind of have this complex staircase. So this first part, let me real quick fix this. I realized didn't go all the way. So you have this centerpiece, staircases going up, and then you can add another staircase piece going up this way, like this if you want, or you can put another staircase up, going up onto this next piece, copy, paste. Then we can copy and paste this thing and move this up this way. Let me go move it down maybe actually, real quick. There we go. And then I'm gonna real quick just grab that. This lighten, I swear the lighten thing is extremely helpful because we just kind of want to remove some of that line work. And you might have to place it a couple times too, just the way it is, because we don't have large landings. But there you go. So now you kind of have those staircases going up, and then you can add like a last staircase going up like this maybe. I mean, just whatever as complex as you kind of want it to be. It doesn't really matter. Want to go about it. Like this staircase is going up this way, staircase going up this way. You don't have to do that. You can just make it one set and make sure it's not super complex. It's just, maybe it's just this. It doesn't have to be. So just think about when you're making larger, more complex, always think about landings. Landings help so you don't have to create an endless stream of staircases. Landings allow for an extra space so that you can put on another staircase and then move on to another landing and then another staircase. So that's the general idea. This isn't a very good example Apologies for that, but you get the general idea. Is you want to just create a series of landings that connect with stairs to create more grander staircases. That's the general idea. Okay. Is there any other questions that people have real quick before we call it good? Because try my best to answer questions because sometimes it's hard to read them. Any other questions? Because we're reaching near the end. Feel free to ask and I will try to do it. If not, then I'll call it good. And my way is not the only way. Just so you know, there are tons of ways to go about staircases. These are just the simplest methods that I've used. You know, there are lots of different ways, and I know there are a lot of other really great pro users here that know what they're doing. So definitely go check out our Discord stream, and you can learn all kinds of different techniques. My way is not the only way. So looks like there's no other questions unless I'm mistaking the delay. We're going to call it good, and I appreciate. Thank you everyone so much. I'm going to go ahead and take my lunch. I hope you found this useful. Let me go ahead and check what the next calendar is supposed to be real quick. Just a quick reminder to everybody, we are switching over to Twitch. So just kind of a reminder to that. Let me real quick see if I can find this calendar. Here we go. Okay, so this is our calendar. Just remember, we're switching over to Twitch starting next week. If you need the link to our Twitch channel, it's in the description below. Go check that out. Go ahead and check. Also, just know that we're not abandoning our YouTube channel at all. All we're doing is just switching live stream over to Twitch, and then we'll go ahead and record that, and it's going to be added to YouTube the following day. So if we're doing a stream on Monday, that will be on Twitch. It will be uploaded to YouTube on Tuesday. So that's it for announcements. Thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all very soon. Take care, everybody.